Everyone's talking about how AI is going to change everything, how it'll make us richer, smarter, more productive. But here's what they're not telling you. There's a price tag attached to this revolution, and it's way bigger than most people realize. I'm not talking about subscription fees or the cost of GPUs. I'm talking about something much deeper, something that's already started to reshape our world in ways we don't fully understand yet. So let's talk about it. Right now, AI is eating through energy like nothing we've ever seen before. And I mean that literally. Training a single large language model, something like GPT-4, uses as much electricity as around 120 average American homes consume in an entire year. That's just one model. One training run. Now multiply that by the dozens of models being trained by companies like OpenAI, Google, Meta, and Anthropic every single month. The numbers get pretty wild, pretty fast. Sam Altman said recently that we're going to need about $300 billion worth of infrastructure just to reach AGI. And a huge chunk of that money isn't going into smarter algorithms or better researchers. It's going into power, literal electricity, because these data centers are already pushing the limits of what our grids can handle. Microsoft and Google both reported this year that their carbon emissions have jumped by over 30% since 2020. Not down, up. And the reason is simple. AI training and inference require massive amounts of compute, and compute requires power. Eric Schmidt, the former CEO of Google, testified to Congress last year about this exact issue. He said, flat out, that we don't have enough energy as a country to sustain the AI build-out we're planning. His solution? Become best friends with Canada because they have hydropower. And if we can't do that, he said the alternative is letting Middle Eastern countries fund it, which comes with a whole different set of problems. So yeah, energy is the bottleneck, and it's not some distant future concern. It's happening right now. But okay, let's say we solve the energy problem. Let's say we build enough nuclear plants or figure out fusion or whatever. There's still another cost that nobody wants to talk about. Jobs. And before you roll your eyes and think, oh, here we go.
Sorry, Mark,
another AI is taking our jobs, Rand. Just hear me out.
Take care. Okay?
Because this time, it really is different. Eric Schmidt gave a talk at Stanford earlier this year, and he said something that stuck with me. He said that within the next year, the vast majority of programmers will be replaced by AI programmers, not assisted by AI, replaced. And he's not some random guy on Twitter. He ran Google for a decade. He knows what these companies are planning, and it's not just about safety, deployment. He also said that within the same time frame, we'll have graduate-level mathematicians that are at the top of graduate math programs, all powered by AI. Now you might think, okay, well, those are super specialized fields. What about regular jobs?
In PowerPoint,
Well,
Copilot turns
Microsoft just
information
rolled
into
out
clear,
Copilot
concise
across
summaries.
their entire
In Word,
product
it rewrites
suite.
and
Word,
polishes your ideas
Excel,
in seconds,
PowerPoint,
so you can work smarter,
Outlook.
not harder.
And the whole
Every
pitch
day,
is that
hours
it'll do your
vanish
work
into
for you.
copy pasting,
Draft
file renaming,
documents,
and status emails.
analyze
TaskFlow
data,
gives that time
create
back.
presentations.
Set your steps once and watch the routine
stuff
take
that
care
used
of
to
itself.
take hours now takes minutes, which
All
sounds
action
great
items
until you
complete.
realize that the reason it takes
Efficiency
minutes is
improved by
because you're not
32%.
doing it anymore.
Payroll transfer processed.
The AI is.
No further input
and look,
required.
I'm not saying
So that's
AI
it?
is
10
evil
years
or
and
that
I'm
we should stop using
replaced?
it, but we need to be honest about what's happening. Every time a company automates a task with AI, that's a task that a human used to get paid for. And yeah, historically, automation has always created more jobs than it destroyed. The Industrial Revolution didn't leave us all unemployed. But this time, the speed is different, the scale is different, and the intelligence level is different. Ilya Sutskever, the guy who basically invented OpenAI's core technology, gave a speech at the University of Toronto recently, and he said something that really stood out. He said, "We're living in the most unusual time ever." And the reason is because AI isn't just getting better at narrow tasks. It's heading toward general intelligence,
books, images,
meaning an
equations,
AI that
entire
can do
libraries
anything a
faster
human
than we can
do.
turn a page.
And once that
Every
happens,
insight,
the
every
rules
discipline
change
becomes a
completely.
thread in its growing
He asked
mind.
the audience, what happens when computers can do all of
Feels
our
like there's
jobs?
nothing left to
Not
do
some of
anymore.
them,
Yeah.
all of them. And then he
machines
took it
have it all
further.
handled.
He said, what will
And
we,
we
the
just
collective we, want to use these
wait.
AI systems for? Will we use
We
them to do
stand
more
at the
work,
edge of a new
grow the
revolution.
economy,
Humans
do
and
R&D,
artificial intelligence.
and if we
Thinking,
do, the rate
creating,
of progress
building,
will become extremely
together.
fast. Faster
every
than
workshop,
anything we've
every
seen
day-
before,
It's all-
which sounds exciting,
all happening
but also
so
kind
fast.
of terrifying
There's
when you
nothing
really
left for
think
us.
about it.
Nothing to
Because
do.
here's
We're
the thing. Once AI
already
can do
obsolete.
all the jobs, What do we
runs on
do?
their algorithms.
And
We
more
own the
importantly,
algorithms.
who
And as long
owns
as
the
they keep
AI?
thinking it's
If
magic,
a
they won't know
handful of
whose hand is
companies
on the
control
switch.
the
Then
most
it's settled.
powerful
We move as
AI
one,
systems
no
in
leaks,
the world,
no dissent.
they
By the time
essentially
they notice,
control
the same powerful
everything.
companies that
They
built the most
control
capable
who gets
AIs
access.
now decide
They
who gets to
control
use
what
them,
the
when they're
AI is
switched
allowed
on,
to
and
do.
what they're allowed
They
to do.
control the
With a
economic
touch,
future
they
of
can shut it all
entire
down.
industries.
Access
That's
is
not
power,
sci-fi.
and
That's just logic. And we're already seeing hints of this power concentration. OpenAI, Google DeepMind, and Anthropic are basically the only companies in the West with the
Powered by
resources to
AI.
train frontier
Together
models.
for a
Everyone
better
else is
world.
either licensing their
Inspire
technology
the
or
next
building on
generation.
top of their APIs,
In San Francisco,
which
the
means
center
the
of the
actual
AI gold rush,
decision-making
the decisions
power,
that steer the most
ability to
powerful
set
models
the
aren't
rules,
diffused
is
across the globe.
concentrated
They
in
sit
just
here,
a few hands.
at this table,
And
shaped
those
by
hands
three
are
names.
mostly in San
OpenAI.
Francisco. Now, let's talk about data, because this is another hidden cost that doesn't get enough attention. These AI models are trained on basically everything humans have ever created. Books, articles, research papers, art, music, code, social media posts. All of it gets fed into the training pipeline, and the companies building these models argue that this is fair use. That they're not copying, they're learning. Just like a human would. But here's the problem. A human artist who learns by studying other artists still creates original work. The influence is there, but the output is new. With AI, the line gets way blurrier, because these models can reproduce styles, mimic voices, generate text that sounds exactly like a specific author. And when that happens, who owns the output? Is it the person who wrote the prompt? Is it the company that built the model? Or is it the thousands of creators whose work was used to train the system in the first place? Right now there's no clear answer, and that's a problem, because if creators can't protect their work, and if AI companies can just vacuum up everything without compensation, then we're basically building an economic system where the people who create the value get nothing, and the people who own the models get everything. That's not sustainable, and it's definitely not fair. The music industry is already dealing with this. There are AI tools right now that can generate songs in the style of any artist. You want a new Drake track? Just type it in. You want something that sounds like Taylor Swift? Done. And sure, the output isn't perfect yet, but it's getting better. Fast. And when it crosses the line where the average listener can't tell the difference, what happens to musicians? What happens to the entire industry? The same thing is happening in visual arts. Mid-Journey, Stable Diffusion, DALL-E. These tools can generate images in seconds that used to take artists hours or days to create. And again, the quality isn't always perfect. But it's good enough that companies are already using AI-generated art instead of hiring illustrators. Stock photo companies are pivoting to AI. Ad agencies are cutting their design teams. The shift is already underway, and here's where it gets even messier. Deepfakes. We've all seen them by now. Videos of celebrities saying things they never said, politicians making statements they never made, and the technology is only getting better. OpenAI just launched Sora 2, their video generation model, and it hit #1 on the App Store in 2 days. People are already creating entire short films with it, which is cool, until you realize that the same technology can be used to fabricate evidence, spread misinformation, or destroy someone's reputation with a single AI-generated clip. The cost here isn't just economic, it's social, it's trust. Because if you can't tell what's real anymore, how do you know what to believe? How do you verify anything? We're heading into a world where seeing is no longer believing, and that has massive implications for democracy, journalism, and just basic human interaction. Now, let's zoom out for a second, because there's an even bigger question lurking underneath all of this. What happens to us as humans when AI can do everything better than we can? Not just faster or cheaper, but actually better, more creative, more insightful, more accurate. What's left for us to do? Ilya Sutskever said in his speech that the day will come when AI can do all the things that we can do. Anything you can learn, the AI can learn, and his reasoning is simple. Our brains are biological computers. So why can't a digital computer do the same thing? He's right. There's no fundamental reason why silicon can't replicate what neurons do. It's just a matter of time and engineering. But here's what nobody talks about. If AI becomes better than humans at everything, then what gives human work value? Right now, we get paid because we can do things that are useful. We can write code, design buildings, teach students, diagnose patients. But if AI can do all of that better, then why would anyone pay us to do it? And if nobody pays us, how do we survive in an economy that's built on exchanging labor for money? Some people say universal basic income is the answer.
pilot
Just give everyone a
results
check
show
every
decreased
month and let the
poverty
AI
levels
handle the
and
work.
improved job
But that
retention.
raises a whole new set
We're
of
proposing
questions.
to scale
Who
the
pays
stipend
for it? The
nationwide
companies
over
that
the
own
next
the
18
AI,
months.
the government,
And to keep
if
it
we're all
sustainable,
living on
funding
UBI, what do we
feels like
do
the whole
with our
world
time?
just
What
stopped.
gives our
Because
lives
it did.
meaning if
Every
we're not
job's
contributing
done,
anything?
every task,
These aren't
and we're just
abstract
here.
philosophical
What are we supposed to
questions
wake up
anymore.
for now?
I don't
These
know.
are
Maybe
practical
we have to invent
problems that we're going
reasons,
to
or
have to
redefine.
solve in the next decade.
Hey everyone, it's
maybe
Mia.
sooner. Because
Just
the
a reminder,
technology's already here.
I'm a real
the
person
models are
behind this
already
camera,
this
and I'm
good,
still here.
and they're
Can't
only going to
copy
get
this
better.
line by line.
And then there's
The
the
hand wobbles
geopolitical
on
cost.
purpose.
The
That's
race for
evidence.
AI
Two
dominance
powers,
isn't
one
just
race.
happening between
On opposite
companies.
sides of the
It's
Pacific,
happening between
algorithms
countries.
train,
The
data
US and
swells, and
China are
silicon
locked in
homes.
what's
Each
basically
breakthrough
a
is
new
met with
Cold
another.
War.
Every
Except
line of
instead
code,
of
a
nuclear
challenge.
weapons,
The question
it's about who builds AGI first. Whoever gets there first gets to set the rules for everyone else. They get to decide what AI can and can't do. They get to control the infrastructure. They get to define the future. Eric Schmidt said the US has about a 10-year chip advantage over China right now. But the lead is shrinking, and China isn't sitting still. They're pouring billions into AI research, they're training their own models, and they're doing it without the same ethical constraints or privacy protections that Western companies have to deal with, which means they might move faster, and if they do, the global balance of power shifts in a really fundamental way. So where does that leave us? Are we just supposed to sit back and watch while AI reshapes the world? Are we supposed to trust that the companies building these systems have our best interests at heart? Because let's be real. These are for-profit corporations. Their job is to maximize shareholder value, not to protect society. And, yeah, they talk about safety and alignment and responsible AI, but at the end of the day, they're in a race. And in a race, you cut corners, you move fast, you take risks. OpenAI, for all their talk about safety, just launched an agent that can browse the web, execute code, and interact with your apps. It's incredibly powerful, but it's also incredibly risky, because once you give an AI system that much autonomy, you're trusting that it won't be exploited, that there won't be bugs, that no one will figure out how to jailbreak it. And history shows us that every system gets hacked eventually, every safeguard gets bypassed. So what happens when someone figures out how to weaponize ChatGPT agent? These are the hidden costs, the energy drain, the job displacement, the erosion of creative ownership, the collapse of truth, the existential question of human purpose, the geopolitical power struggle, and the very real risk that we're building something we can't control. None of this is meant to be doom and gloom. AI has incredible potential. It can cure diseases, solve climate change, unlock scientific discoveries we can't even imagine yet. But we can't just focus on the upside, we have to look at the downside too, because if we don't, we're going to wake up one day in a world we didn't choose and can't undo. So what do we do about it? Honestly, I don't have all the answers. But I think the first step is just being aware, understanding that this isn't just some neutral technology that makes life easier. It's a force that's reshaping everything, and we need to be asking hard questions. Who benefits? Who gets left behind? What safeguards are in place? And are they actually working? The conversation around AI right now is dominated by people who have a financial stake in it. The CEOs, the investors, the researchers who work for the big labs, and they're brilliant people. But their incentives aren't always aligned with the rest of us, so we need more voices in the room, more perspectives, more people asking uncomfortable questions. Because the cost of AI isn't just measured in dollars or kilowatt hours, it's measured in the kind of world we're building, and right now we're building it without really thinking about where it's headed. If you made it this far, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think. Are you optimistic about AI? Worried? Somewhere in between? And if you want to see where this is all headed next, make sure you watch the video on screen right now, because the future is coming faster than anyone expected, and we need to be ready. Thanks for watching.